accepted. So I will start my speech now. Notice that this is not a debate on whether national service is good or bad, but about the effectiveness on mandating it to all citizens. So it's about which side will actually bring more benefits to the citizen and the country as a whole. A few things I wanted to make clear before starting comparing and starting right into the core of my speech. Number one, we never deny the fact that national service is good. It's good for countries, but we say that mandating it to all citizens without any incentives from the government is bad. And proposition kept on mentioning all the benefits that we will get from national service. But number one, they need to prove to us how this will be implemented in the first place, and number two, how this will actually affect all citizens, especially as my first speaker has mentioned very clearly, because this is mandating it to all citizens, meaning that people who are disabled or people who kind of like have mental issues or are blind will also need to do those national service because they are like this is old people, so they're required to do so. So first of all, what has our side proved and why it's effective? First of all, we proved to you that instead of mandating it, government should impose a voluntary national service programs with incentives. So instead of making it compulsory, the government could offer like attractive benefits such as scholarships or tax breaks or career advancement opportunity to encourage participation. Because this approach will at least respect the individual freedom while they still foster like a culture of civic responsibility and public service. And we believe that citizens will just at least look forward to doing national service since they know that their jobs and education will still be secure after they finish national service. Before I move on, I'll take one POI. So we believe that like even if there are the we still need to take those minority cases into mind, and we believe that those people like they will lose out on the chances. So we don't think that like it can actually applicable to all people in the circumstances. I think we don't need to repeat ourselves anymore. And number two, we proved to you that mandating all citizens to undergo a period of working for national service can be extremely risky since it disrupts their education and careers, because that's exactly the reason why all alternatives are way better, because it ensures and secures people's future. And this can also have a potential of decreased economic growth since lots of people will be out of the workforce and the company will have to work on ways to like secure their economic growth. And so coming to the main clashes that we think is important in this debate. First of all, the number one clash that we see proposition mentioned a lot throughout this entire debate is national unity. So this clash here we want to talk about is national unity versus the effectiveness and whether it is practical to mandate it to all citizens. Because on proposition, they mentioned to us how civic responsibility, like it is a responsibility for all citizens, and it will actually have unity and patriotism for nation because they can at least see the hardship of the country and they would want to contribute more. Well, on our side, we argue that while the goal of national unity is very important, but mandating the service is not the most practical and effective way to achieve it because the policy might result in resistance and low or poor performance from those who are compelled to serve against their will. Because let's notice the fact that there are people who want to serve and there are people who don't. And we believe that the people who don't want to serve is the majority here because who like imagine that you're getting this super amazing scholarship in another country and now you're at the age of serving national service. So even if maybe you can get back to that scholarship 2 years later, you're missing out on lots of things and nobody would want to do that. And in addition, there are concerns about the effectiveness of forcibly conscripted workers in critical roles such as the military or civil servers. service. So the reason why opposition is better on this clash here is because we point out that unity should be fostered through voluntary engagement, where citizens are motivated and passionate about the rules, and that's why alternatives are better because governments they actively work on ways to encourage a citizen to motivate them. Like citizens can still be motivated to join national services while they're still at least looking forward to after they finish their national services. And we believe that compulsory service can really lead to inefficiency and dissatisfied between the people who are working on this. And ultimately, it can really undermine the goal of national unity as a whole. So in this case, even though national unity is important, we still think that we have to take whether it's effective or not to implement this. Okay, no, I'll just only take one POI. So moving on to the second clash is the impact on society versus the economic and personal cost. Because we believe that on opposition, we believe that even though mandating national service imposes significant economic and personal costs, because note the fact that not all citizens can afford to take time away from their careers, education, or personal responsibility, and the economic burden on individuals and the potential disruption to their lives can be really bad, particularly those from like that has a more disadvantaged background. So imagine that in a family and that person is the breadwinner in that family. And now they're at the age of serving military service or any other national services. So their country will be on the stake of going hungry or even worse, they might have to live on the street because they lost the breadwinner in their own family. So the fact that not everyone will have at least the time take away from their careers to do so. Well, proposition they continue saying that national service can address various social needs such as filling labor gaps in essential services and but you should be focusing but so they also mentioned the fact that how this will actually solve lack of military. But we believe that there are still so many people who go to military school and there are so many soldiers out there who can do this job. That doesn't mean that we're saying that people should not go to military or any kind of things, but we're saying that what is the outcome of mandating it to all citizens, and it can really have a bad effect on their life and their entire lifestyle as a whole. Protected time already. And finally, we want to compare the solution and the alternative. So on our side, as we said before, our alternative, we focus on the fact that we still encourage people to join military services or any kind of national services, but we also give them incentives. So unless on your side you can prove to us how people can still secure their lifestyle after they finish military or any kind of national services, then you basically win. But on our side, we believe that alternative is way better because the government actively works on ways to improve people's lifestyle, and after they finish their national services, then their lifestyle and career will still be secure because the government give them incentives, for example job opportunities or tax breaks, so that it will be way more beneficial for them as a whole. So overall, very proud to oppose on this motion.